Welcome back to Operation Intel Veteran Stories. Today's a really exciting day. Thus far, I have done interviews with everybody that I personally was deployed with the 1st Engineers. The idea for this channel was to reach out to more veterans outside of the group that I deployed with. Today is that day that I'm interviewing somebody who did not deploy with me. And I am really excited because it's not only the first person that I've talked to outside of our group, but it's also the first female I've done an interview with. So, Marie Hunyon, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Tim. It's great. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. Thank you.
I have gotten a chance to get to know you. And you, first of all, before we get started in your story, I want to thank you because you have been a huge supporter of this channel. But not only that, you have been somebody who tells me exactly what I could do better, whether it be the audio, the video, but not only that, for many of you, you may know her husband. I call him Lieutenant. I cannot call him Lieutenant Colonel. Lieutenant Hunyon or Jesse. I just wanted to thank you because you've backed me 110%, and I am honored to have you on this show today.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Really is an honor to be here.
Great.
Yeah, you guys have welcomed me into your brotherhood, and that means something to me. I mean, here's a story for you already. I deployed twice. I had one combat deployment and one mobilization to Kuwait, where I met Jess. And I didn't make the brotherhood, sisterhood with my teammates. Um, it's always been just stranger for me. I enlisted when I was 38 years old. I know that wasn't last year. I'm 54 now. So I'm a dork. I know I don't look my age. I have 7 younger sisters, and I try to look as young as possible so I can look younger than all of them. But the
You look
the
great.
youngest is 5 months older than my daughter. So
Yeah, that is awesome.
yeah.
So,
So go ahead.
you know, you said you didn't get that brotherhood or sisterhood, um, but you kind of see where all of us have that brotherhood. That now looking back on it, is that something that you look at and you're like, I wish I would have had that when I was deployed?
Oh yeah. It's admirable. It's absolutely admirable. It's beautiful that, you guys love each other. You really do. And I love you. I mean, the characters that you guys are is just you're my kind of people,
Yes.
So you help me feel like I fit right in, and I appreciate that because I didn't get that. Um my first one was the whole team, well, it was a 5-person team in Jordan, and there was 2 NCOs, me, myself, and my NCOIC, and then 3 officers. So I met people there that only 3 or 4 do I really talk to. But I was the civil affairs, and so we were always outside, and so I didn't get to stay inside the wire, and I was always going out, and
Wow.
so I didn't get that, but I had a different experience, which was great. But, the only one of the officers do I talk to now, which is sad because I really loved my team. But, and then my second one was with a bunch of National Guard to a mobilization. I was the NCOIC, S6 NCOIC for the BLC or BNOC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I had a great gig, and I had the best soldier. I love him, Jay Schuldberg, all the way, bro. He was the best I could have ever asked for. And we were flawless. Even with issues, we fixed them, and it was just beautiful. Yeah, it was a good mission.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's one of those things where we grew really close together, and it kind of shines out now. Um, but we went 20 years without talking to each other, and it was like we picked up where, well, you can see it. I mean, it's like nobody had missed a beat. Um, but I'm really interested to hear more about you and what you've done in the military and then life after the military. Um, but before we get into that, you know, outside of this group, I haven't gotten too many opinions from veterans that weren't in our group. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on what you think about this channel, what we're trying to accomplish, and what we've already accomplished, because I think we've already accomplished a lot. What do you think about what we're doing here?
I love it. I love it. What you are saying is every veteran has a story. I was going to do a podcast very similar to this. And, it's just, I have to find something completely different because what you're doing is beautiful and I can't tread on that. So we're going to like feed off of each other.
Yeah,
Not
and you
compete against, compete with.
exactly, and
Help each other grow. Yeah.
exactly, because there's things, before we got started with this, the last video I had, the last interview had some audio issues. So Marie is very good at the audio portion of it. I'm more like the little stuff like graphics and stuff like that. I think we could help each other out a lot. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I just recorded my first Audible for a command sergeant major who retired and wrote a book. It's called The Gardener. I'm going to give you a plug right now. Daniel Arog, Zier Sr., retired U.S. Army. He's a phenomenal human being and a great author. And he wrote this book. It's a trilogy, what they call them, The Seeds. But it's a story about war. And it's a kind of what, not kind of, but part of his perception, his opinions, his feelings are put into this book, and and he takes on all these different roles as the author. But it's a really good book about two sisters and war and sci-fi. Yeah,
That
sci-fi.
that is awesome. That
So go
and
to Amazon and download the Audible. It's me if you want to hear me read, but it's really cool. So it's my first. I'm gonna do more.
you definitely should definitely go get that book. It sounds like a really good one.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
so tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you just said that you I know.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Before I get that, I want to tell you something.
Wait.
There you go. You came down here about a month ago, and I got the opportunity to meet your mom. She love her to death, and I'm sure she'll watch this. Love you to death.
Yeah.
But I see where the personality comes from.
Yeah.
I absolutely, you guys had me laughing the entire time. Um,
It's fun.
yeah, that's one of the things that I love about what we're doing here is I get to meet new people like you
Right?
that are such a big part of somebody I served with, but you've actually become somebody that I love you to death. Um, so before the military, tell me what life was like for you and what made you want to join the military.
Oof. All right. Well, you asked for it. I'm old. All right. So, I was a Girl Scout for a little bit, and I wanted to be a Green Beret. Thought it was cool. I was a very active tomboyish girl. Grew up in the rural area outskirts of Detroit, Michigan, um, in Oakland County. And I ended up being the second of 11 kids. We moved to the DC area when I was 12, and I hated it. It changed my life. Well, the first day of school was on my birthday, and I knew nobody because we only lived there for like 3 weeks, maybe. It sucked. I went from one class a day to seven. What the hell is this homeroom shit? No one prepared me for this. This was a shock. So it was a rocky road for me as a teenager. I was an asshole. I was the second of 11, not at that point in time, but like the second Joe, Marie, Michelle, Tony, Ann, Nicole, Lisa, Paul. Yeah. uh, yeah, number eight, that's about when my life changed when I was 12. Moving to Virginia, it was a shock to me. But I got through it, and then I got pregnant when I was 17, and my life started over. It was a new beginning. It was like God said, I'm going to straighten your ass out right here, you little punk. And I wanted to name her Grace or Abigail. I thought they were beautiful names, but her dad liked Brittany and Ashley. And I still tell her, I love you, but I hate your name. She's like, Mom. But I still, Ashleigh, not Ley,
Had to be just a little
So
bit different, didn't you?
yeah, of course. But she's my favorite firstborn, and she's a great person. She's 36 now, and she gave me my granddaughter, Teresa, who's an amazing human being, 16 going on 17, 18 months away from like 18. Whoa.
Oh gosh.
No, less than that. Yeah. So anyways, it was a rough road for me being a young single mom. It was the right decision for me and the best decision, of course, ultimately. Um, got married when I was 20 and ended up having four daughters by the time I was 24. Woo! God has a sense of humor. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's see. I became a paralegal. I went to school and I was a paralegal for 18 years in the DC area. Very successful. I lost my job. It was like a DEI hire back then in 2009, 8, 9. Thanks, Obama. Yeah. Uh, he was bailing out banks and everyone else he was just being told, that's the
Yeah.
reality. And that's what I felt like. So I couldn't find a job making 75, 80 grand a year, what I was making.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, so I just joined the army. I was 38 years old and said, I'm going to be a paralegal making 36,000 a year in 2009. No, no, I'm not going to do it. I hate lawyers. I can't do it. They broke my heart. At the last place, it was it was a lie to get rid of me. They wanted to lay someone off and they couldn't. And the administrator did not like me. And she was former military. And it was my F you to her. She was an MP. And I was like, oh, MP, no, I'm going to do the smart route. I'm going to go signal. I'm going to learn about radios and servers and computers and switches and routers
Yeah.
and that was great because I'd have a career after I got out. So I ended up working, well, let me back up a little. Right after basic training, I go to AIT at Augusta, and I had 2 aneurysms and a cerebral hemorrhage. Yeah. So they were going to med board me out. And I was like, no, 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 please let me finish. Let me go on 30 days of con leave. I'll come back and I'll finish out my training at AIT in between switches and routers. I don't know how the hell I passed that, but I did. And by the grace of God,
Yeah.
somehow it stuck in here. But um, then I got out of AIT, and so I'm an aneurysm survivor, and um, I have memory issues, and I fought like lose my words and stuff. So
You,
part of me of that happens.
Bree, you know one thing that we do have in common is that you know brain injuries are weird. I had a traumatic brain injury due to concussions, right? And I
Yeah.
will, and this is one of those gigs when you're doing YouTube and you're doing podcasts and stuff like that. It's one of those gigs where a lot of the times you have to think on your feet, and I'll lose train of thought and I'll be like, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I
I
totally understand that. I forget what I'm saying halfway through a sentence sometimes, and I'm like, where the hell do I go with this? So I understand that. Sounds like yours was a
well,
little bit worse than mine, though, to be honest with you. Gosh,
but
that's
I'm
tough.
truly a metalhead.
Yeah. What was basic training like for you though? Because I
I was
joined.
twice their age.
Yeah, like, and
Yeah.
you're older than the drill sergeants, and some of them if they joined at
I was,
20,
yeah.
there
They treated me like shit.
did they
They treated
see?
me,
I
yeah,
would
they
think
did.
the opposite of that.
If you would have done this right out of high school, you'd be my master sergeant right now. And I'm like, well, you know what? I am still married and I have a family and you're divorced and you are not happy. Like, really? Ooh. So what? I didn't. I tried to. And they told me that I wanted to join the Air Force when I was 18, but they said I had to give up custody of my daughter. And I was like, that's why I want to join, to take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
Tell me I have to give her up. And, it's just like, and it had to be on paper. And we didn't even go to court over child support because we knew what our obligations were. And I'm not a psycho and he's not an idiot. So
Yeah. And I think, you know what, going
we
through my own battles, I think that's the best way to do it.
It's
Um,
about the kids. Be civil, man. It's about the kids. When you're no longer with that person, shut the fuck up and move the fuck on and build your fucking bridge and get the fuck over it, for crying out loud. It's about the kids.
yep.
That's
And,
it.
that's one thing that I have, I've learned through that process, right? And you know me very well when it comes to my kids. My kids are my absolute
You're everything.
world. They changed my life, and gosh, I have three girls. So some of the questions they asked Dad, though, I don't know.
Yeah. You got this. You got this.
Yeah, I'm trying my best, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Let them see your humility. It's good for them. It's all
I
right. You don't always have to be strong.
hmm that I think that
You got to be real.
yep, and I tell them that all the time, is that I showing emotions is okay, and I teach my boy that too, because I feel like that a lot of boys get told to stop crying and not do
Suck it
this.
up, buttercup. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
No,
think
man, you got to be your authentic self and you've got to teach children to be their authentic self.
exactly, and especially as a kid too. So
Yeah. Yeah. They have to learn what their boundaries are in order to tell you, don't cross it respectfully, of course, that based on how you raise them or their teachers or their neighbors. I got boundaries. These are my boundaries.
yep.
And they can never be a doormat. Must stand up for themselves, be respectful about it. That's, it's the one thing that's teaching, like, the solid foundation of independence is knowing who you are and being true to yourself.
I love that, and I try to teach them that every day, every single day. But with you having a kid when you went to basic training, I think you're practicing what you're preaching right now to me, is showing I don't have everything figured out right now, but I'm making steps. I'm picking myself back up, and I'm doing something different and rebuilding myself. And
Right. Well, my kids were 15, 17, 20, and 24. Yeah, when I went to
but
basic
but
training.
still that's still hard because those teen years are tough.
What sucks though is they were older by the time they decided what they wanted to do for college. They passed that time frame, the age of 24. So I couldn't use my GI Bill or anything to give to them. And I got a
Oh gosh.
30,000 enlistment bonus for college, not just the GI Bill. I got a 30 grand enlistment for joining. That was part of my bonus, in addition to the $18,000 bonus I got for enlisting at 38. Hey, it was
Oh,
smart.
oh
I took care
gosh.
of my family. I was able to make ends meet, but I couldn't pass those benefits on. And if they gave waivers, because in '09 when I enlisted, it was the age of 42, I believe. And they
Yeah.
gave, waivers for others. And of course, if you have a PhD, they'll give a waiver and you don't even have to pass PT test if you're a doctor or whatever. But no, like, they don't give any waivers for my kids who are now going to college. Like, one's going to be a psychologist and I can't give her any of my money or anything. And it's like, man, if she just had the extra 2 grand, and
That's a
I
lot.
part with it on my own self, but I know it is. It's a lot for her, and she's only 31, married, but it's like I should be able to go. I'll just take that. They should be able to cash me out. Either take the 30 grand or you get 50%
Oh
in
yeah, I mean
cash
you
money,
you
motherfucker.
pay into
Okay,
it.
give it to me.
You pay
I use it how
into
I
it.
want.
Yeah.
Right?
So after basic
Yeah,
training,
but it isn't what it isn't. So
yeah, you can't fix what you can't fix, right? At, after
right,
after
right.
basic training, where did you go? Like, you went
I
to
was at Fort Gordon.
Fort Gordon, and
Yeah, Fort Gordon.
where is that at? I'm trying to think. Where's Fort Gordon?
Augusta, Georgia, near
Oh, you.
Savannah, like it's on the northeastern part of Georgia.
I know where Gordon is now. Yeah, yeah.
On the other side, yeah, South Carolina and Savannah, Georgia are over in that area. I didn't never went to Savannah when I was there, but
Did you know, like, right out of basic training, exactly where Gordon was?
I know I looked on a map. That was it.
Yeah, like when they told me I
I mean,
had
I
to.
knew where Georgia was, so
Well, I didn't know because, when they told me I had to go to Fort Riley, I had no clue where Fort Riley was. Had no idea where in the world Fort Riley was. So I wasn't sure if that was the consensus where people are just like, I have no idea where that is. So I didn't know if that was something that crossed your mind when they said, "Hey, you're going to Gordon." So,
well, my biggest thing was as long as it's not Atlanta, just don't send me to Atlanta with Benning. I
oh,
was terrified of that because I hate Atlanta, and
that
it's
traffic is
just like
awful.
Benning.
It's awful. The traffic is absolutely horrendous around Atlanta and other things as well. What was life like for you at Gordon though? Because basic training is basic training, right? Getting to the
Yeah,
unit at 38 years old and being what rank were you? Specialist,
I
PFC?
was an E1. Yeah, I was a well, yeah, little mosquito.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it sucked
Oh,
because even though I went to school to be a paralegal, I had 2 years of it, but I did not have a degree, not even an associate, so they wouldn't even let me, use that because it was a tech school, not a college. I was like, so I spent like 20 grand less than everybody else and got the same education. And they were
uh,
like, sorry. Yeah. And the only reason why I went from a fuzzy to an E1 is because, or E2, is it?
E2.
E2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is because I knew my phonetic alphabet numbers and could spell my name phonetically.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. So yeah, to a little captain who's like 24 years old and I'm 38. I'm like, oh, sir.
Oh my god. I don't even know what life would be like. Cause here's the thing, right? I'm 41 now, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, I don't know what I would do. First of all, the physical part of it, okay? Running 2 miles. Yeah.
I was badass. And then I had the aneurysms. I
Well,
was doing like 75 push-ups, 75 sit-ups, and running a 2 mile in 17.
that
Yeah.
those
I'm only
are
5'2",
yeah.
5'2", 120 pounds. The
Yeah.
good old days.
The good old
Yeah.
days.
So they wanted me to go airborne. I was ready for it. And then the aneurysms.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Uh,
sucked. It really sucked because I was a badass. I wanted to do everything I could. I was thinking, what's this Pathfinder stuff? I really like that badge. It looks like the Detroit Red Wings.
gosh. Mm. It does kind of look like it now that you say something
Yeah.
though.
The first instance. I'm from Detroit originally, so I love my hockey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so um I went into I got my first deployment to Jordan. We ended in theater or started in theater about 2 weeks after the sarin uh, gas in Syria. So we dealt with the Syrian refugees coming over the border, and we were a 5-person team and we kicked ass. It was so awesome. We did more than USAID.
Yeah.
Yeah, USAID has their nice little plaques with their little emblem on it all over the place, and it's like, you guys are here in October, and you're asking what kind of winterization that we have prepared that we've only been in theater for two weeks, and
Yeah.
you guys, you're population refugees and migration. You're USAID, aren't you the ones who are supposed to be worried about concerning, not the military? And we have to like basically bow to these people because they're the federals, the federal government, and we're just military idiots. And I was like, so me and my sergeant reached back to the other 5-person team that was in Kuwait, and they had connexes of humanitarian aid and winterization items, blankets, gloves, donations, and
Yeah.
but we had to say it was all donations because we weren't at war with Syria or anything, so we couldn't use humanitarian aid. So there was only so much we could do, but and also, my sergeant and I are we put together the slides that taught the Jordanian armed forces how to set up their own civil affairs organization, which they did, and it's still in operation today.
Look at
So
that.
proud. I was just a little E5 signal. I went and deployed as a civil affairs, and I filled the shoes. But it's because of who I am, and I wish I would have known what civil affairs was before, because that's what I love, that diplomatic, but I'm not the diplomat that they want. Well, maybe now, but not then. That's another story.
Yeah.
I might get to that. In 1 hour, I don't know. We might have to do a 2-hour segment. I'm old.
But
So,
the big thing with me, and I always ask people this, had you been outside of the United States before that deployment?
Aruba once.
Aruba once.
Yeah.
What
Canada once.
well, what was your first thought when you got over there?
Shock. It was, well, we fly over, and I love sleep. So I slept on the plane ride pretty much the whole way. Um, when we got onto the bus, just like everyone else has said, shut the curtains,
Yeah.
and you're like, what the fuck? I thought we were in an allied nation. What the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
And the smell of, it was just a different smell, and a sandy, salty, garbagey kind of smell.
Yeah, yep. I know
Cool,
exactly what you're
you know,
talking about.
yeah, just a sweetness, like garbage birding kind of a smell. That's just,
Not the best
well,
smell in the world.
no, no. And then, the jet fuel. So, cigarettes, because I'm a smoker.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I didn't really do much until we went to Jordan, and then, I didn't go went outside the gate once in Kuwait before we moved forward to Jordan, and we were out in Amman and went to Petra, and I climbed the stairs, and it was absolutely breathtaking. And I did it again and brought Jesse. It was because he had to see that, and I wanted to see it again. So I'd actually been to Petra 3 times now,
Wow.
and all the way from the north, Karak, all the way to it's actually shaped like a pistol.
Yeah.
Here it is. Actually, this is, you know, what everybody gets when they leave theater. Pew
That
pew.
that is real. I love how you're holding that. Oh
Yeah, it's
god.
cool. It's cool. It's cool.
You
But come forward, Jordan. So
I'll tell you something.
proud of you.
You and LT both have been all over, it seems like. You guys have really seen the world, and he was showing me pictures because he was down here what was it, like September, October? Somewhere around there. And he was showing me pictures from his phone. Oh, I know, it's freezing here in Ohio.
Cool.
Absolutely freezing. My toes are frozen right now.
Right. Sorry.
But I'm definitely jealous of both you and him because you guys have gotten to go all over the world and see the world, which is really cool
We
as well.
you just do it. There was a website that reservists. I was a reservist, and we could log into this website and see what kind of jobs are available. And I actually was lucky. One of my awesome Bennett, Command Sergeant Major, HB. He was just such a great guy. Um, he said, "Hey, I need a competent E5 or E6 for this mission." And I was like, "What is it?" And he was like, "Maybe range officer or something." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, count me out, yeah." Even if it is Kuwait, and it was Buring. So I was like, it's not Arifjan.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. And I didn't want the AJ type scene either,
Yeah.
So,
So
and
what are some of the stories that like stand out to you like during your deployments? Like you know, you've probably heard our stories 1,001 times, different ways, but the same stories.
we have
Um,
great stories.
I get, I, Well, depending on the point of view, on some of those, it was like now looking back on it, it's funny and great stories. But during that time, it was rough. There's moments that always stick out to me. Um, what are some of those moments that stick out to you during your deployments? Oh gosh, I
No, it's just I'm not in anymore and I didn't retire, so I'm not up to no, I'm UCMJ action. No, I'm just kidding. Well, when I was at Buring, I would sneak off base, not ask for that damn certified letter that had to go all the way from the top and exit because, the man I was seeing had a no search pass, so every time we wanted to go to town and get pizza, really good pizza with San Marzano tomatoes and the dough made right there. Oh, I gained 40 pounds
oh
after
my
that
gosh.
deployment. Yeah, because it was just so good. But yeah, we were going off base almost every freaking night.
Oh
I if they would know now, if they watch this, they're gonna be like, "You motherfucker."
yeah,
Yeah, damn it. I did it right. I
yeah.
asked him to marry me, so I asked him.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Eh, what the would was that that was in Kuwait or Jordan?
That was in Kuwait in
Kuwait.
17.
Was there anything
17.
in Jordan that stands out to you as well? Like,
Uh, Barrel bombs going off, straddling the border of Syria and Jordan. Um, the people. The people who came over the border with the clothes on their back and suitcases that they're dragging along, carrying their children with the clothes on their back and their wind burned faces and their hands just chafed and cracked and bleeding and just the sorrow in their eyes, because they had to flee what they've only known as home and barely had anything. And it's absolutely it's tragic, but God knows who the villains are in all of this. No matter what war it is, God knows who the villains are, and I take great solace in knowing that there will be judgment for every person on this earth. There will be. There is,
I couldn't
and
agree
that
more.
gives me comfort. That gives me great comfort. Current and, past and future.
Yeah,
Every man will be judged and woman, if you need me to say it for you.
that's the one thing
You
I
know?
love about you is I don't have to be like, "Hey guys and gals," it's like, "Hey, I'm
I ain't no
love."
feminazi. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
no. You know,
But
let me ask you this because I know the first time I heard bombs going off and stuff, it freaked me the hell out. I'll be honest with you. Um, do you remember the moment that you first heard like an actual bomb go off, and what did that feel like for you?
um I remember the moment and it's just like heart palpitations. How much closer is it going to get? What scared me the most was that we were on a base that was um let's just say many SEAL teams have uh practiced and trained and um become real men after being in this Levant, if you want to call it the Levant. That's what it is technically. Um the the tear gas and you're not prepared for it, not knowing that it's because of their training, and you're like, you think you're going to die because you had the chlorine incident, I believe. Were you there?
Yeah,
I didn't know what was going on, and we're just two people walking from the co-op to the COIC. I'm sorry, the co-op. Though that was my last deployment. Um, but yeah, it's really scary. That was what really. And then I was like, well, wait a second. So where are the weapons? We had to check them in. How do I know that this is, and I'm like asking questions and piss people off because, well, I don't care if you know. I need to know.
yeah,
Give me some type of, because if shit hits the fan, we're in a freaking quarry. We
yeah.
ain't on high ground here, you idiots,
Oh,
So, so there were little things like that, but I knew I was not in any type of situation because Jordan is allied with all of the Muslim nations around, and they keep the peace. They are a really great nation. I think they've done an excellent job. The people of Jordan are mostly beautiful people. The women are probably the most beautiful women in the world. They're just stunning. All of them are stunningly beautiful. The men, like Kuwaitis, they're a little skinny, you know.
This is why I
Let's get
love
some
you.
meat on the bones.
This is why I love you.
I'm a dork.
Uh, yeah,
But the food.
the fact that were they more mortars or just actual bombs going off outside the gates, and or do you even
Well, those no, that I wasn't a part of. That was at a different, two different bases than the
okay?
one I was at.
Yeah, the first time that I heard something go off, it really like set the tone for the rest of the deployment for me because when you're out in NTC, everything is fake, and then once you hear stuff going on outside and you know that it's real, it's like it's a totally different ball game. It
Right.
truly is. But seeing, I think that's where the two deployments where when I went to Iraq and you were in Jordan, the people are what hit me the hardest. Seeing the kids and not having any shoes on, and then not only that, but the normalcy of war.
Hmm.
Um, that was something that really stuck with me, where they would walk by a firefight. That was normal to them.
Hmm.
That's why I tell everybody, even my kids, I'm like, you really should be thankful for being here in the United States. So,
Amen to that.
yeah,
Amen to that.
yeah. So you how long between deployments? So you had Jordan and then you had Kuwait as well. How long was it in between your deployments? And did you get stationed any other place but Gordon? So that you come back from Jordan, you go back to
Oh,
Gordon.
well, I was reservist, so I did my basic at Fort at Jackson, and then I went to Augusta for 17 weeks at Gordon, and then I went to Meade. So I was at a reserve center outside of Fort Meade, the civil affairs, and I did that for 8 years. Went from a civil affairs KCOM level to brigade, and then made E7 and went to. Oh, when I deployed, I decided to stay with the. It was a training command that I was like, if I stay with a training command, I'm going to hit all of my pillars. They'll make sure that I go to the all of the knocks I need to go to.
All the knocks that
So
I need to get to. Okay.
yeah, that I need to live through the hard knocks.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I did, and I made E7, and then COVID
Hmm.
fucked all of it, all of it, all of it, everything.
What was
So
that like inside the military?
well, okay, so no shit, there I was. I worked at an I had a job at an embassy. I finally got a federal job, one that I would be able to take back to the States.
Yeah.
Um, and it was in part I just needed to get my foot in the door. And Trump had passed that you don't have to have a degree in order to have a federal job, and that was a requirement. And I was like, "Thank you, dude, because just tell me what you want me to do, and I can do it. Because I don't have any bad habits. Tell me what it is you want me to do." So I got my foot in the door. I was a cybersecurity analyst. I also worked at a contractor's before that, a contractor as a cybersecurity analyst. But at the embassy, I was a CLO. I was a glorified overpaid party planner, this community liaison office. Yeah. So that was during COVID, dude. I had to
Ah,
figure out how to baggage up little tiny pieces of, candy just to give it to kids because COVID, the flu.
yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I always wondered what it was like, even overseas.
Well, when it came to getting the vaccine,
Yeah.
um, they lied. we had to go over to Ali Asalem and get it and sign up, and then you go through the theater, and then you meet with a lieutenant colonel medical, and then you ask him the questions. And I said, I understand that aborted fetal cells were used in the making of the vaccine. And he was like, well, it was used for all the testing. Yeah, that was his answer. There were like 12 people in the room with us. I wish I would have gotten his name, and I knew he was lying. And so at that moment, I said, not getting it. I don't trust it. It's nefarious. Something more to this than a vaccine.
Yeah, and that's
So
interesting that you say that. You know, if it was used in testing, then why wouldn't they put it in the regular vaccine? Yeah, that
why wouldn't they release the information so that we could have the informed consent?
yeah.
Why
No.
were they pushing it? Why were they bribing? Why'd you get a free donut? Why'd you get a free Obama phone? Whatever it was that, their ploy was, they were pulling them out of hats. So I knew I'd never seen them push something like this so hard ever in my life. And I'm old, so I knew it was bad. And I have the anthrax series and the smallpox, and which caused me to have psoriasis and caused me to go into menopause at 41 years old while I was in Jordan. It sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm still going through it 12 years later. Yeah, it's horrible. I don't, my mom had more kids, but she had 2 years. And, here I am on year 13. For the love of
Gosh.
everything holy, let it stop. It's
um
horrible. Sorry.
no, no, no,
TMI.
no, not hey, listen. I think it's perfectly fine. You know, speaking of that anthrax vaccine, that was an interesting one for me because that one hurt well, the first two shots didn't hurt. It was that third series that felt like it was going all throughout your veins. And did you know
It was like peanut butter.
it was awful? But what I found funny was when I went back and looked in my medical records, did you know that wasn't on my medical records that I took the anthrax vaccine? I would check
No
your medical
way.
records for that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I
Yeah,
will. That's interesting
yeah.
because I
It
have.
was nowhere to be found that was on my medical records. Yep, which was very interesting to me. So,
Hmm.
so you get out of the military. Tell me what you do after the military. First of all, you jumped in rank very quickly.
Yeah, I was smart.
But that
Yeah.
but but Marie, that goes back into everything that you're explaining to me. It's something I've went over on this channel probably a million times. Is they get you to sign that paper, or you're 21, 22, 23, and your brain isn't fully developed, and you're thrown into a war zone. You have to do stuff, or you're told you have to do stuff like the vaccine, for example. um, you don't ask those necessary questions because you haven't lived life. You haven't seen the things that you've seen.
Right.
um, it's interesting to hear your perspective on different things, being that you were older when you joined than most people. um, but you
Well, let me
definitely
put this,
go
let
ahead.
me tie this together. So, 4 months after going into basic training, I didn't have my immunization records from when I was a kid. I couldn't locate them. And because I'm old, I know it's like the 10th time I've said it. I'm sorry. Um, it was hard to locate, so I just said I don't know. Well, they inoculate you with everything, the MMR, the DTaP, and all that. Well, 4 months later, I had two aneurysms. Could it be because I was a smoker? Yeah. Could it be because I never really worked out a day in my life and still looked good as shit? But no, but I didn't, I had the best arms, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, Sarah Connor. Those were my arms, my shoulders. It was cut before the army.
Yeah.
And then yeah, then there was like it could have been a whole lot of things because I never worked out and I was being pushed physically, and it could have been that. And, hereditary. There's all these different things that it could have been factors, and probably all of it at 38 years old, not a 21-year-old punk. I was a 38-year-old punk. So, And then, that just, it didn't end me though. I'm glad that my unit, civil affairs, they were like, all right, well, I said 6 months, let me pass a diagnostic. And, and I worked hard. Oh, and I had great people that supported me at my unit. Not all of them, not the AGRs, most of the AGRs. All right, I take that back, retract that, edit that part out.
I'll just I'll put a bleep over it, okay?
AGRs, oh, the bane of my existence. I
Oh,
said the first thing I would do when I got out was I would change the AGR system because it's like the Army welfare system. You can't get a job outside of here, so we get stuck with your lame asses, and this is all you're going to do all day long. It's
oh
just, ugh, that's what
gosh.
happened. There we go.
So,
Whatever. So,
well, you get out, um, because because of COVID. What did you do afterwards? So, what was your first move as soon as you
well,
got
because
out?
I worked at the embassy. They told me you either have to resign or get it or be fired. And I said, pound sand. How
Yeah,
dare you? It's discrimination. You're saying I can't work for the federal government because I didn't get a vaccine.
yeah,
That's stupid. I'm one of the ones who sued and got the mandate lifted at midnight on May 11th of 2022, so that the mandate was no longer forced for employment.
good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. But
Hey,
unfortunately, the Biden administration took it to SCOTUS and they wanted to make it a moot point, that because they lifted the mandate, then the case no longer has any type of precedence. But it does in the Fifth Circuit in Kansas City, Missouri. They're the ones who set the precedence. But even though the whole case is moot, it's saying there is no precedence, but we pretty much said you cannot force a vaccine. You cannot force somebody to take a vaccine. So that's our precedence. If we ever have to go back, that's where we have to go to, because SCOTUS said it's a moot point, dismissed. Yeah, they didn't pick up what we were putting down for them, because there will be a time in the future where they say line up like soldiers again, and yeah, yeah. I'm a conspiracy theorist, by the way. You want to
you,
know more? I am the good idea fairy at proton.me.
and that's funny that you should say that because the very first time that LT told me about you, he was talking about your setup, and he was like, "Here, listen to the way her microphone sounds." So he sent me a video of you going back and forth with somebody else, and I sat there and I told him, I was like, I've been listening to her for 45 minutes. I love everything that she's saying. And
Thanks.
he was like, oh no. He didn't know he didn't know that we would talk. And so it was funny. Now, I get to talk to you a good bit. Well, I would say a good bit, but you're there every single rally point, giving me tips and stuff. So it was funny just to hear that from him. Oh no,
Yeah,
definitely go
yeah, it
follow
drives you
her.
nuts.
Definitely go follow her.
I haven't started it yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to have knee surgery in a few weeks, so I don't want to start something and then be offline. And I got to go in with wands blazing, because this like good idea fairy is going to light shit on fire.
Well, we yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. But we got to get you on a rally point on a Sunday night as well. That would
Yeah.
be awesome. I would love to hear your point of view on stuff, because I respect your opinion on everything that you
Oh,
say.
thank you. Thank you. Well, the video that you watched me in, it was probably one with my friend John, who taught me everything that I know
Yeah.
about podcasting, and I don't know a lot. He was really great at it, but he's in college and, going to Georgetown. He's going to get he's going for his doctorate in cybersecurity or cyber analytics or quantum. He's really wicked smart. He just doesn't have patience,
Yeah.
and it's sad because he really could have a great following. He's got to change a few things, but you can edit this out. But no, he's a good one to follow.
Yeah. Hey, you know, one of the things that I've learned is just what you said, especially with this YouTube thing. Um, you have to have patience with yourself and understand that it's not the content that you're putting out, but it's the algorithm behind it, right?
Right.
And I have had to teach because I'm not patient either. Um, you know, we
I'll pray
had
for you.
oh gosh, it's all, but this has helped. This has helped. It did not help when Hollywood Dave, when his short went viral. Gosh, I'll tell you what, I
That's great. That was great.
I was sitting there checking it every 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So,
Ta-ding, 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 ta-ding,
oh,
ta-ding,
it was,
ta-ding. Like if you were at a slot machine.
oh, it
Yeah,
was
it was
awesome.
cool. Jesse was hyped up on it too. He was like, "This is great. He's at like 7,000," you know?
It is still climbing. I that short has 250,000 views on it so far,
Oh, that's beautiful.
which is amazing. So
It's organic, and that's the key element is it's got to be organic. Because if it's not, and you don't grow on the platform that you have, what do you have?
yeah,
You know, if people aren't interested in what you're bringing to the table, then you got to just find another thing, another. You don't want to find the quick and the short. You want to find what really interests people, and that's, the stories that people tell. I've done a lot of things, a lot of different things. And, now you're asking me what I do now is I sit at home and I pet my cats. I got lots of cats and I fuck around with podcast. I'm going to start a podcast eventually, the Good Idea Fairy podcast. Because I think it's a great name, and I think it's, and I really want military because I love the military, the family that I do have, you included, and now Jake, because I met him last night. What a
yeah,
great guy. Uh, a
yes.
warm guy, a very genuinely warm, good human. I could feel the good vibe coming off of him. So that
He
was nice.
he's a very he's a very good guy. I
Yeah.
always liked him, but I'll tell you something. If you want, I remember, and it's funny that you bring him up because one of my fondest memories of Jacobson.
Jake of all trades.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, he he was a wrestler, I believe, and
I think
that
you said something about that,
that guy is tough as nails. Now he might not look like it because he just doesn't look like he would be tough. You know what I mean?
right?
But the
Right.
first moment I met him, he had a wrestling match with one of the tough guys in our unit,
Okay.
whooped his ass. Jacobson comes out with his nose bloody like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, my God. But one of the nicest guys you will ever meet in your entire life. I love him to death.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you're getting to know all of us. Um,
Yeah. Me too.
it's amazing.
It's
Well,
fun. It really is. And I know Hish. We had Thanksgiving with Hish, and I
he's
love
a
him to pieces.
he's a
What a
character.
guy. Oh yeah, and his son is like 100 times Mike. I'm not
Oh,
kidding. He is so quick and witty. It's fabulous.
mm.
It really is. This kid, I'm like, I enjoy hanging with your kid. Like, I love kids. I do love kids, but some of them you're just like, man, you're really cool. Dude is wicked awesome cool. I'm telling you, one of the coolest kids you will ever know. I hope he doesn't grow up. I just love him as he is. He's so perfect. He really is.
Oh gosh,
Yeah, he's
Hish is
cool.
a character. So if his son is, oh my
Right?
God, I could only imagine.
Yeah, you're gonna love him. You're gonna love him. Everyone's gonna love him. You guys got to know Logan.
Well,
Little budge.
you know, I hope to meet people's families. I think we're trying to plan something, and it's gonna be a lot
Come hell
better.
or high water.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water.
And I think another thing is the first engineers reunion. Our first infantry. I think it's first engineers reunion. Chief Hunter knows about it. He told me I should show up for that and do interviews there, which I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah.
What did the military teach you? Like one big thing that you know that's something that really interests me. What did it teach you?
How to stand on my own 2 feet.
I love
That
that.
I'm not a doormat, and I'll never be a doormat again. And I may make some mistakes and allow people to cross the threshold in a different way, but um, it gave me strength. It gave me the the strength to say no. I don't agree with this. I won't. Nope.
Love
Or how about let's do it this way? I finally found the strength. You know, that's that meant the most to me because I was a pushover. I was a very passive person, believe it or not, Italian Irish. I used to get into fights all the time, but I never threw the first punch. I never lost either.
I
The bigger they
again
are, the harder they fall.
again for those of you who are watching this show right now, I do not think the apple falls too far from the tree because her
No,
mother, if you set
my
them beside
genie.
it, they are identical.
She's
It,
the Irish.
oh God, I loved her to death. It was so funny. She gave her a hug when you guys left, and she goes, "Oh, it's been a while since a man hugged me. Are you single?" I was like, "Oh no." And your face when she said that was priceless. I will. It was great. It was great.
Oh, mother.
Oh, love
Oh,
her to
she is
death.
great. She is spectacular. She really is. She raised 11 kids. She's a beautiful woman. She should be, we could put her in as a saint. Nah, she's got too much road rage. I don't think it'll
I
work.
can see that too. I can see it. I can see it.
The patron saint of road rage.
Oh my gosh.
Jeannie.
Oh god. She's a character. Let,
Thank you.
oh, I love her. Let me do you miss being in like have you dealt with because I know for me personally, maybe it's a better way to tell you kind of the way I feel. Maybe you can tell me if you feel the exact same way or a little different. You know, when I first got out, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so my mind was everywhere. So before I got in, I my whole dream was to play baseball for the rest of my life. That got cut short. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So with through a little help because my cousin died and I joined the military and then that got cut short and it's like what the hell do I do? And then it falls into one of those things where I'm like, I wish I was still in and it caused me depression and stuff like that, which I didn't know was depression. But have you dealt with any of that where it's like, gosh, I don't know what I want to do and I wish that I was still in?
I know what I want to do. I don't wish that I was still in. I wish I could serve under Hegseth and Trump. I really do. I did. I actually, my deployment to Kuwait in 2017 was on January 20th. So, Inauguration Day, I was the first troop to fly overseas deployed under Trump. I was proud of that. Um, but Pete Hegseth, yeah, he's my cup of tea. I absolutely love what he's doing for the military. It's the way that it should have been the whole time. We don't have stress cards. What are you going to do? Tell ISIS, no, I'm not ready. I need hot cocoa in a safe space. No, it doesn't work that way. They don't care. They don't care. And we're bending over backwards to accommodate such a small fraction. And it's just because they want to infiltrate. And if they would stop being nice and just say no, we wouldn't have these problems with insider threats existing within our local, state, and federal governments and all their NGOs that they contract with and all the nepotism that exists. I'm from DC. I've witnessed this growing up. I've been political since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I just call it like I see it. And I have an intuition that's uncanny toward to others. It's very strong. I'm blessed.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm not very political, but if you watch the rally point on Sunday, um, for a National Guard member to get shot outside at DC was not only a slap in the face, but that was tough. Just seeing the
Yeah.
attack on our homeland, and then you know, but then again, like I'm also one of those people where it's like it was an interpreter, I guess. So how do you know? You know what I mean? There are you vet them. I do know that. Um, but for somebody
That
like
they
that,
get over.
what'd you
They
say?
get over.
Yeah,
They get over still,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. That part of it is tough. It's one of those things. I don't like it. But let me
You cut
ask you,
off one head snake and seven others grow.
and they're already here. And I used to do a news.
Absolutely.
I
There's
did it.
thousands of cells,
Yeah,
and they're sleeper
absolutely.
cells. They exist. They will come out. They have, they're they're people who like dates, anniversaries. They mean something. So those are the dates that you be careful of, you know. Whatever date is a big date for somebody, it's a big date for them too. So we're
Correct.
surrounding days of big dates. And don't be a soft target,
Yeah,
Don't put
yeah,
yourself out there. Go to New Year's and hang out just to watch a ball drop with a bunch of other disgusting drunks. Why?
yeah.
Sit at home and enjoy your family and the comforts of your own home. Kick your feet up, drink your wine there, you know,
I couldn't
celebrate
agree with more.
you. Celebrate with your fam.
Yeah, the fact that yeah, what you just said is completely right. We've talked about Christmas Day in Iraq. I just talked about that on last night. I was going to say Sunday night, but my internet was down, right? Um, but gosh, I'm telling you, when it rains, it pours.
Yep.
But you are completely correct. They do love things that are special to other people, and
Mhm.
they really try to ruin that. So I do agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Got one more question for you, and I absolutely love talking to you. By the way,
Thanks. Right back at you.
you keep me laughing, but then you're very smart as well. So
Thanks.
love hearing from you. So I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this. I always ask everybody before ending our interviews, um, if you had one piece of advice for a veteran out there that's struggling to find his way or her way from what they've seen overseas, or maybe something that they've done, um, what would that advice be?
It's not going to sit well with some people, but my advice is pick up that Bible. Open up Matthew and just start reading. Read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then go to the beginning. Start in the beginning and read and find find Jesus, because all that hope, all the love, you don't have to the the Holy Spirit is within each of us. And that's your conscience. That's, what not to do. If your grandmother were standing right next to you, would you do it? Well, the Holy Ghost is, and there is the Trinity. And I believe, I'm a Catholic. That's what I believe. And you don't have to believe in Catholicism, although that's where all the other denominations come from. Catholicism is the church, it's not a denomination. And I would say find Jesus, because that love is so divine. The happiness that I find when I read for 15, 20 minutes before I go to bed, I feel like the world is still, and this is all that matters. And what he suffered for each of us, it's for all of our sins so that we too can live a life everlasting in the kingdom of heaven if we so choose, and I think that's, if you feel like you can't talk to anyone, talk to Jesus. He does hear you. And sometimes you're going to fall and you're going to fail and it's going to hurt. But when you lose that hope, when you feel like you're at your very end, he's there. He is there. He's the one telling you don't be a dumbass. And you're the one going, nah, fuck it. Well, you just told Jesus, fuck you, basically, And
Not a
that's
good
that's
idea.
what I truly believe. Oh, and I lost my way for many years. And, but this is where I find so much happiness. And, this just happened to me on September 10th. Um, I was scrolling through Instagram and this song was very captivating to me and I loved his voice and I'm watching the video and it said Psalms, but it didn't say which one it was. So I'm listening and I'm focusing on, he keeps doing this and it's an AI generated video and I'm like, but I love his voice. What psalm is this? So I go over and I pick up this 2,322 page Bible, the St. Ignatius Catholic Study Bible. And I swear on everything holy, Tim, I opened it up to the very page of Psalm 91, and there's the words staring me in my face. I'm sorry. It was amazing. It was so amazing. Because I've been reading the Bible, it's taken me 2 years because I don't read every night. I do a lot of traveling. I don't want to take her everywhere I go. I do, but it's hard. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So it was just so amazing to me. And when I started reading the Bible, I started at John, and then I went to the beginning. I read a few Maccabees and Judith and Ruth. And then I went to the beginning, and I said, I'm going to read this page by page. And I skipped over Psalms and Proverbs because I didn't want to focus on the poetry because I'm a musician and I would get lost in there and I want to read the stories. So I didn't even read Psalms. I had no idea where to look. I open it up and I open it to a page and then I grabbed a few more pages and I swear right there, who it was Psalm 91, whoever dwells in the
You go right ahead.
may I? May
You
I?
go
Okay, thank you.
you go right ahead.
It's the assurance of God's protection. And he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, who abides in the shadow of the Almighty, will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and buckler. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord your refuge, the Most High your habitation, no evil shall befall you, no scourge come near your tent. For he will give you his angels charge of you to guard you in all of your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Almost done. Because he clings to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him because he knows my name. When he calls to me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And it was, I will send you the song because I saved it as a video. I did a screen cap, and it was just you'll hear it. His voice is very beautiful. It may be AI generated, but it was really really nice. And to hear that set to music was like, so sorry I stole it with Jesus.
No, you I think, and Crouch had the very first episode I did, and I see what it's done for Crouch, and he has made a remarkable turnaround, and I love him. He has a special place in my heart because he treated me like family when we left Iraq, and I lost contact with him, but he was one of the very first ones, your husband being one of them as well, that said, I want to do this. And just hearing how he's changed by, finding Jesus and also talking to me. I talked to Crouch a good bit, and he talks to me about it a good bit too. And it has helped him out. a lot, and I couldn't think of a better message than what you just shared. I think
Thanks.
that's amazing. Um, Listen, I have had such an amazing time getting to know you because here's the thing, right? I've talked to you for what, since August. I have never heard your story before. I had bits and pieces of it, and I did know that you had joined later on down in life and stuff, and I want to let you know that I love you. Um, you're a
I love
great
you too.
person,
Thanks.
um, and it has been an absolute honor to have you on this show. Not only as the first person outside of our group to interview, but also the first female um, person to come on here, which I think couldn't have been more perfect. So thank you very much for everything that you've done for me and this channel as
Mwah. I love you. Thank you.
well.
You make me feel like I'm part of the family. So,
You are,
you
you are,
know,
you are. So
I'm there with all y'all in spirit, and it's been great getting to know everybody when I do get on. I just don't want to hover over Jesse's shoulder and be like, "Hey, Pam." I mean, I will, but this is his time with his buddies too. He loves you guys, and he's so proud of where you guys are and where you've come from, and the hardships that you're going to face. Everyone's going to face hardships. It's how you deal with them. And you got to just go, it's like Satan. Fuck you, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm building my bridge and getting the fuck over it.
uh,
It's not that easy. I know. Actions speak louder than words sometimes. Words are, just venomous sometimes. And I don't mean any harm for anyone who is suffering, because you can call any one of us, anyone, even me. I'm just a dork and I'll make you laugh, but I'll get you stoned.
yeah. I do know. Yeah. Yep. You
You can
know.
edit that.
Hey guys. Yeah. One thing I will say before we get off this, he has been, and I don't think he gets enough credit. So I'm going to give it to him now because I know he'll watch this. He has been absolutely amazing, not only for myself, but if you don't know out there, he's the one that started the group. He took an idea that that I had envisioned for this channel, and he took that off my plate, and he was like, "I'm going to do this." And not only that, but he's always giving me tips and pointers and helping me out. You both are. So you are a part of our family now. Um, Good luck. I
I
oh
love
gosh.
it.
Well,
I love it.
listen, again, it's been a pleasure having you
Thanks, Jim. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out.
on. Have a good night.
You too.